celebrating 10 years of delivering the news and content automotive professionals can count on. CBTnews.com. Subscribe today. Welcome to CBT News with Bridget Fitzpatrick.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to CBT News. Thank you so much for joining us today. Here's Chris Riggins with today's top stories.
Thanks, Bridget. Carvana released its third quarter sales results, and the slowing demand for used cars was worse than expected. The company reported 102,570 units sold during the quarter, an 8% decline. Carvana says it expects to fall even further in the current quarter. Revenues also missed expectations, landing at $3.39 billion, down from the expected $3.71 billion. In a letter to shareholders, Carvana said the average monthly payment for a used car jumped 22% year over year, outpacing the cost of living for many Americans. The company is also facing global supply constraints and higher operating costs. According to a press release, Lucid Motors will live stream a global launch event for the debut of the final two trims for its flagship Air sedan, called the Air Pure and the Air Touring. The event will take place on November 15th and is dubbed, quote, "In the Air and Beyond." The automaker also promised progress updates on its business strategy and the company's upcoming electric SUV starting in the second half of 2023. The Air Pure has a starting price of $87,400, while the Air Touring starts at over $107,000. October saw stronger than expected job growth despite federal interest rate hikes designed to slow the labor market. Non-farm payrolls grew by $261,000 for the month, beating the Dow Jones estimate of 205,000 jobs. The unemployment rate increased to 3.7%, higher than the 3.5% estimate. Average hourly earnings grew 0.4% for the month, and labor force participation declined by 0.1 of a point to 62.2%. Subaru CEO Tomomi Nakamura said the automaker is currently not considering building electric cars in the U.S. because it can't compete with McDonald's wages. Quote, "In Indiana, part-time workers at McDonald's earn $20 to $25 per hour, which is in competition with what temporary workers make at our plant," Nakamura said. Numerous other automakers have made announcements that they are investing in EV production in the U.S. to take advantage of federal tax incentives through the Inflation Reduction Act. Subaru currently operates a vehicle assembly plant in Indiana and currently has only one electric vehicle on the market. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next is Pete McGinnis, CEO of eLens Solutions. We'll be right back.
Celebrating 10 years of delivering the news and content automotive professionals can count on. CBT News, 10 years strong. Subscribe today.
In the first edition of Fraud in the Modern Auto Retailing Age with Pete McGinnis, CEO of eLens Solutions, we shared how eLens ID scanning technology played a critical role in helping the Houston Police Department catch fraud suspects trying to purchase vehicles with fake IDs. Then Sergeant Darren Schlosser from the Houston PD joined the show to discuss the ways they work closely with auto dealers to prevent vehicle purchase fraud and catch the bad guys. Today, we'll share results from over 700 auto dealer respondents to eLens survey called "Is Identity Fraud Jeopardizing Digital Retailing Profitability?" Take a look.
Pete, will you share some of the highlights from the dealer survey that you found? Because I think some of these things are very interesting that you pointed out.
Sure, I'd be glad to. Yeah. So vehicle purchase fraud has really accelerated since the pandemic began. There's been over $500 million in identity fraud losses in 2022 alone at the franchise level.
Wow. $500 million, did you say?
Yes.
Wow. That's huge.
So far this year.
Yeah.
Yes. And, it really is. So when we did the survey, it's no surprise that the majority of the dealerships, about 88%, acknowledge that the auto retail industry has seen an increase in identity fraud since that pandemic started. Mm-hmm. But more surprising is that a whopping 84% of the respondents have directly experienced identity fraud at their dealerships since that beginning, with a third of them saying that they have seen over 20% increase in identity fraud related activities since the pandemic started.
Wow.
So, yeah. So in just the past year, 79% of those dealers said that they experienced an identity fraud related vehicle loss at their dealership. 79% said they actually lost a vehicle as a result.
Wow.
As a result of that.
That is incredible.
40% of those dealers reported a loss of like 1 to 2 vehicles, but was more alarming in this results that we did not expect, that 60% of the dealers in that group said that they had reported a loss of 3 or more vehicles in the past year.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it is.
So
Yeah.
what? I wonder why it's gone up since the pandemic. Is that because there's more digital retailing taking place, and these, nowadays the crooks don't even have to come into the dealership half the time, right?
Oh, absolutely. It was almost unanimous in response to that 95% of the dealers, they track that identity fraud to the expansion of remote buying experiences and that digitization of the deal, the loan application, the approvals, the transaction, et cetera. And they also said that 86% of them are predicting that as more of the transactions move online, identity fraud will increase and become even harder to prevent moving forward.
All right, be sure to watch this interview in its entirety right here at cbtnews.com. That wraps up our show for today, but we invite you to join us back here again tomorrow morning for all the latest news and trends impacting the retail automotive industry. And be sure to follow us on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm Bridget Fitzpatrick. Thanks for watching and have a great day.
CBT News, your #1 resource for auto industry news and content. Celebrating 10 years of delivering the news and content automotive professionals can count on. CBT News, 10 years strong. Subscribe today.